It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, it's showtime. I hope you had a great weekend, everybody. Yes, it's Geno Jones showtime. So I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast if you're out in Los Angeles, where, wow, the slap scene around the world. Yeah, you already know. Oh, yeah. I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say. It's got a lot of layers. It's like a wedding cake. And I'm going to put some icing on every layer. It's coming up like almost right now. So, once again, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones channel. You and everybody you know and don't know. Everybody that you like, that you're cool with, that you love, that ain't really cool with, that you really don't like, can't stand, or hate. Doesn't matter. Tell them all. Strangers, aliens, to even Will Smith and Chris Rock. Y'all need to subscribe to the Geno Jones channel right here. And please like and share this and every episode. All right, fasten your seatbelt, strap it up real tight, tighten it up, and put your helmet on because we're about to go for a ride. As you know, like I said, last night, and I didn't see it in real time. I actually fell asleep. But the slap scene around the world. Will Smith slaps Chris Rock on live TV, the Oscars. You got what? I don't know, maybe 1 billion people watching worldwide. You know, the Oscars is seen globally, all over the planet. So Will Smith actually won the best, he won the best actor at the Academy Awards, so he got that Oscar. First time that Will Smith got an Oscar, something he's been working hard for all his career, to finally win an Oscar for Best Actor. Yeah, he was excellent in Ali. But his role as Richard Williams, Serena and Venus's dad in the movie King Richard. I said when I saw it, and I mentioned it on the show, he took his acting to another level. It was worthy of getting an Academy Award, even though if you haven't seen Macbeth, I know it's kind of tough because the whole movie it's like, you know, you got this kind of Shakespearean British 17th century whole dialect and accent. But I'd have gave Denzel, but then I'm biased. I would give Denzel an Oscar. He didn't even if he didn't do a damn movie, I would still give Denzel an Oscar just because. Like the Oscar, because even if you would have made a movie this year, you would have got the Academy Award. So I'm gonna give you the Oscar just because you tried to give everybody else a chance to win this award. So really, Macbeth. If you haven't seen Macbeth, it's Denzel. He was Denzel-esque. But nonetheless, Will Smith and it was expected. You know, all the pundits, everybody that follows Hollywood, and the people that vote on the Oscars, the other actors and writers and filmmakers, producers and directors, cinematographers, everybody in the movie making industry. So it was pretty well understood that Will Smith was probably, and it was worthy of getting an Oscar. Like I said, you could have gave it to both of them. You know, winners could have been Will Smith and Denzel Washington. And Denzel's actually a mentor, an acting mentor professionally of Will Smith. So this happened. So Will slaps Chris Rock. So if you didn't see it last night, which I don't know, maybe you just woke up out of a coma, because you talking about a video going viral, but apparently. So Chris Rock, he was not the host, because you had like all women, 3 women hosts. As a matter of fact, shout out to Wanda Sykes and Regina Hall, 2 of the 3, and Amy Schumer was the 3rd. So Wanda did her thing, Regina did her thing. So shout out, Women's History Month, and shout out to Will Packer. Will Packer, filmmaker, so he produced the Oscars. So you had a black man, first time in the history of the Academy Award, producing the entire show. Beyonce did her thing in her in like that that loud, that bright, no slight, because it was bright, but I loved it. You know, she had on her bright green, what was it, like almost like a lime green outfit, her and her performers at the beginning, which is brilliant. I'm a huge Beyonce fan, so it ain't too much that B can do wrong, because I'm just a big fan of Beyonce's. But I did need my sunglasses to see that outfit. I was like, whoa! See, I like bright colors myself, so do your thing, B. So you had a black man producing the entire show. You had 2 to 3 hosts were black women. Shout out to the first, I forgot her name. I got so many notes, too many notes. So there's an Afro-Latina sister who won the Best Supporting Actress for her role in West Side Story. Name will come to me. My guest co-host, she'll probably find it for me real quick, Google her name and find out who the guest co-host was. But shout out to my Afro-Latina sister that did her thing. She Afro-Latina, openly gay actress that won the award. And she talked about the importance of that intersectionality, the cross-section of being an Afro-Latina. And she owned it. She said, I'm an Afro-Latina. So she didn't run from her blackness. She put her blackness out front, because her blackness is out front. Because I looked at her, I'm like, oh, she looks like, heck, she looked like she could be my sister. We about the same, same complexion. So shout out to her. So we'll get your name, my sister. I apologize. There's just so much going on. So anyway, so Chris Rock, who was not, he wasn't a host. He was a presenter for the best documentary that was won by my man Questlove. Shout out to Philly, another Philly brother, but he didn't slap anybody. Questlove from The Roots produced it, and I talked about this documentary when it first came out, because I got a chance to see it, The Summer of Soul. So there was this huge music festival way back in 1969. Sly Stone and David Ruffin, the Young Gladys Knight and the Pips, Mavis Staples, so many, the 5 Stair Steps, and I know I'm still forgetting some folks, but it was just, man, Sly's performance, David Ruffin's performance, shut it down. Sly was the last one on stage, and Sly and the Family Stone just shut it down. David Ruffin just did one song and was like, what? And blew away everybody, including me, because I'd never seen David Ruffin perform live like that without the Temptations. It was incredible. So Questlove, he won the Oscar for the best documentary. So congratulations, Questlove. Good dude, good brother. And how did we not know about this? I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. You had no network will cover it, nobody. The promoter, the brother, had basically put up the money himself. It was in Harlem back in the summer of 1969. The Summer of Soul was the name of the documentary, this big music festival. Awesome. If you have not seen it, it is an incredible, incredible documentary. And I'm so happy he got the Academy Award. So Chris Rock was the presenter in this category. So Chris is kind of, just doing what Chris Rock does, telling some jokes. So he told a couple of jokes, and right before he got to Will and Jada, so there was an actor and an actress, and they both were nominated for Oscars. And Chris was like, well, dude, if she don't win, you can't win, because there's going to be a problem in the house if she wins, and if she loses and you win. So he's like, if she loses, you can't win. He said, I know you sitting there hoping, praying that Will Smith will win the Best Actor category, the Best Actor Oscar. And then he said, shout out to, Will, and shout out to Jada, G.I. Joe 2022. Can't wait to see it. So now, that's when the problem started. So if you don't know what G.I. Jane, no, not G.I., I said G.I. Joe, G.I. Jane 2022. Can't wait to see it. So G.I. Jane was a movie that came out in 1977 starring Demi Moore, actress Demi Moore. She was married to Bruce Willis for a while, and then she was married to this younger dude, Ashton Kutcher, when he was like in his 20s. So anyway, Demi Moore played the lead character who shaved her head. She was in the military, I believe, a Navy SEAL. So part of her just trying to show all these men that she could do this, she literally shaved all of her hair off. So that was where the G.I. Jane reference, and apparently G.I. Jane 2 is going to be coming out. I guess they're going to be doing a G.I. Jane 2. So initially, Will Smith is laughing. You can see him like he yucking it up. But then Jada is sitting across from him, and Jada's like, oh, I can't, she's rolling her eyes. And then Chris Rock, apparently, the cameras, they cut back to Chris Rock, and he can see, apparently, Jada rolling her eyes. He's like, oh, wait a minute, y'all, that joke wasn't that mean, and blah, blah, blah. And so within like a 10-second span, maybe 10, 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, all of a sudden, you see Will Smith. He comes straight up on stage, and Chris, he don't know what's going on. And he's first thing out of Chris's mouth, like, Richard, he's like, uh-oh. He said, Richard, then he's like, uh-oh. And then Chris Rock actually leaned in like this. Like, okay, hey, man, you gonna hug me? What are we doing? And instead of hugging him, Will Smith literally slapped the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth. And there was a still photo, a photo captured this moment to where you saw Chris Rock's face like that, and his hand, his fist, he was about to fully ball it up. It was halfway balled up, and that was just a shot. But listen, to Chris Rock, I gotta give the brother, I gotta give him credit. I don't know how he composed himself. And there's so many layers to that, and I'm gonna get into all that. All right. So Chris Rock made this not so funny joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's bald head. Now, let's put that in context. So Jada Pinkett Smith has a medical condition called alopecia. And it causes women and men to lose the hair on their body, their head, eyebrows. If you got like hair on your body, alopecia causes you to lose all the hair on your body. Jada's been very open. She's talked about it. You know, she's got the Red Table Talk show that she does on Facebook. So she's talked about her alopecia on multiple occasions. So, and that's where the G.I. Jane reference came about. But my God. So Will Smith slaps Chris Rock, and Chris is standing there like I am. You know, well, hold on. I'm leaving a very important part out. So after Will Smith gets back to his seat, then Will Smith is like, keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth. Your effing mouth. Then he said it again, and he really enunciated, and he was louder. Yeah, keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth. Now, in real time, the funny thing, for people who saw it in America, basically, you lost audio for about 30 seconds. It was like you saw video, but you didn't hear any audio. And then eventually they opened Chris Rock's mic. But for people who saw it, everybody else around the world who had a different feed of the Academy Awards, that audio, they didn't mute the mic. So people all over the world heard Will cuss this dude out and threaten him and say, well, he already slapped him. Said, keep your wife's name out of my effing mouth. He yelled it twice. And people knew Lupita Luongo was sitting behind him, great actress. And all of a sudden she kind of looked like, and you could see she's like, oh, snap. This ain't it. Because initially people thought it was a skit, like a comedy bit. You know, sometimes, hey, we got Will Packer, we got a black director. We about to straight up, it's going to be different. It's going to be an Academy Award that the world will never forget. And it was for different reasons. And one of the main reasons was all the wrong reason. And then you saw video and some camera in between breaks, like during the commercial break. My man, speaking of Denzel Washington and Tyler Perry were basically talking to Will Smith and just telling him, dude, you need to stand down. You really need to calm down. And when Denzel said, hey man, listen, I'm paraphrasing, but when things are going great for you at your greatest moment, that's when the devil's gonna come for you. When things are going best for you, that's the moment when the devil is about to come. He's gonna come for you, try to steal your joy. and snatch your victory, literally. Speaking of snatching the victory, so the organization, the people that are part of the Academy Awards, the governing body, were meeting, because actually about half of them met last night. They did like this Zoom call after, Will Smith slaps Chris Rock, trying to decide whether or not they were even going to let Will Smith, were they going to let him stay there at the Oscars? What were they going to do about his award? Which is a whole nother thing, because that's just, I heard some talk today about, well, maybe the Academy might take his, no. He earned that Academy Award. Now, if you ban him, tell him, because the winner, so last year's winner is supposed to come back the following year and basically be like a presenter for the best actor, whatever category you win in, but especially for the best actor and actress. That winner usually comes back and is a presenter. So they talk about, well, don't let him come back and present the award for next year for the best actor. But then to talk about taking away his Oscar, come on, y'all. Okay, like I said, it's a lot of layers to this. So no, you can't take his Oscar. You can't, no, he earned that. Y'all don't want him to come back, then just tell him he can't come back. And then just be done with it and move on with it. Oh, God. I got to bring in my guest co-host, because there's so many layers. It's like a giant cake, and I can't eat it all by myself, even though it's a pound cake with no icing, in theory, metaphorically speaking. But you've seen this guest co-host of mine, media personality, businesswoman, very talented person. We're going to bring her on camera right now so she can help me out with this. There she is, rocking the locks. Rocking them locks. Them locks look good on you. Do your thing. You're always killing the game. Miss Dakota Rain. Hello, Dakota. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Got that melanin magic working, doing your thing there. The lipstick,
Yeah.
the lipstick is matching like the drapes. You just see, and the skin tone, as my man John Witherspoon would say, coordinate. So
I like brown. First of all, her name is Ariana DeBose.
thank you, Ariana DeBose. Yes, congratulations to Ariana DeBose. She is an Afro-Latina, a queer Afro-Latina that won Best Supporting Actress for her role in West Side Story. So we want to give that sister her due respect and propers, as they used to say in the old school. All right, so listen, Dakota, this is, like I said, this cake's got a lot of layers. So let me just, I want to, let's end this one part, or put a button on this one part, so then we can go to the second button and third button and fourth button, metaphorically speaking, and try to button this coat up. Because this is the theme for the show, today's show. And people, you look on YouTube, you see, I said, what I saw last night in real time, I didn't see it in real time. When I woke up this morning and saw it, I said, this is an example of why we all of us, myself included, we all need somebody at some time in our life to save us from ourselves. Now, I say that, Dakota, from experience, recent experience, because Damaris has, for those, Damaris is my wife. Folks are like, who's Damaris? People who watch me regularly know who Damaris is. They know who Allie and Boogie, my daughters, Boogie, Allie, and so anyway. So recently, I had to be saved from myself, like within the last month, not once but twice, and there've been, obviously multiple occasions, because there was multiple occasions this month that I had to be saved from myself. So there are multiple occasions in my life where people in my life, my mom, and had to save me from myself. So I get it. Look, I got a wife. I get it. Nobody's more about protecting black women than I am. I fought a grown man at 4 years old that was putting his hands and beating my mother. So I get that part. I have let's put it this way. When it comes to hair loss and a woman, my mother has a form of lupus that caused her to lose her hair. So I understand what that's like. I've had conversations. I've seen the pain and talked to my mother, and she's talked about how, she's embarrassed, and she wears, wig, but, she's just embarrassed. And it's a little different with lupus because apparently, I don't think alopecia, from what I see, alopecia is a little different because whatever scarring that women or men, because it's a condition that men and women can get, it doesn't necessarily leave the scarring and the discoloration that this form of lupus can, that my mom has had. So it can be really, really just sinister in that way. So I get that. I still live with my mother. I don't live with her, but I live with understanding just emotionally, mentally, how that, how you have to cope with that. And just, you have to kind of reframe everything, but you still live with it. Like I said, my mother and I talked about it today. She's still, she's still embarrassed. There's still a sense of, from time to time, shame and the whole 9 yards. So I'm sensitive to that. I'm telling that story, Dakota, and everything, because I'm sensitive to that. Like I said, protecting black women. I don't talk about it. I've done it. All right. I'm not going to even waste. We don't have enough time, everybody watching me in Dakota, to talk about the times where I have put myself in harm's way and didn't even think about it in terms of defending, primarily, from the women in my life, from my mother to my sister to my daughters. I hadn't had to really go crazy like that with Damaris, which leads me to, and this is not a judgment about, Will and Jada. Everybody does things differently. Nobody knows what emotionally and mentally the challenges that, Jada's having, not just from the alopecia, but everything else that she's been open about on her show, the Red Table Talk, that what does she call it? The entanglement, the affair, sleeping with this younger dude, August Alsina, the little young R&B dude that so Will and Jada kind of took this guy, August Alsina, and he'd had health challenges. So they were almost like surrogate parents / mentors. And then somehow, I guess, Will and Jada, according to Jada, they were on a break. Those are Jada's words. She was on a break from Will when her and August Alsina all of a sudden started sleeping with each other. And she was open, she the one that kind of spilled the beans. And then Will talked about it. So, like I said, there's a lot of layers to the cake. But I'm saying, so I get it. As a black man who's fiercely protective of women in general, and specifically black women, who has a mother that has dealt with and still dealing with a medical condition that caused her to lose all of the hair on her scalp. I get a lot of layers of this. I do. But once again, that for me, one of the most important lessons I hope that we all can take from this, Dakota, is that we all, myself, present company, I'm not saying I'm no better than Will. I'm saying, heck, in many cases, I was way worse than Will. But I had somebody that was able to save me from myself. Like DJ Cassidy, I pass you the mic. You have the floor. She's like,
I
damn,
would like to.
Heck, I'm exhausted. I don't know. Did I wear you out, Dakota? I'm sorry.
I would like to say this. When it comes to marriage, they don't have to explain anything to anybody. They don't owe anybody any type of explanation on what they've been through, why they're going through it, why they're handling it that way. That is completely their business, and I think.
Well, let me ask you something real quick. Just real quick. I just want to ask you, based on what you just said, because, Jada has really been open on her, especially on this Red Table Talk show, about the whole affair with August Alsina.
Well, from what I hear, she didn't have a choice because August was going to spill it.
Okay. And then she's been
His
open.
way.
She's been open with, the alopecia. They talked about
Yeah,
their sex life. They've gone. I mean, Will talked about how he was in his feelings. And then also in Will's book, he's got a book out, and one of the things he talked about is feeling like he was a coward because he didn't defend his mother when his father was beating his mother up. So, listen, I'm still dealing with childhood trauma until recently. Didn't call it childhood trauma, but I've always told the story about, when my sister's their father was beating my mother in front of me, and I fought him when I was 4 years old. She was pregnant with my baby sister. I get that.
He doesn't. I get it, but he doesn't know what he's dealing with because he's in affair recovery. If you've ever dealt with an affair type situation in a relationship or a marriage, you're serious about just that never happening again, and both people are in it. You're basically being torn apart to be built back up. You're addressing everything. So he's probably in a place mentally and emotionally. He doesn't know what his triggers are. He just know he has triggers. He doesn't,
that makes
he's
sense.
still feeling,
Well, let me ask you this. So would you, and it's unfair, but I just want to get your take. I mean, how do you feel about them just being that open about putting all, as come on, as we would just say, and then putting all your business out in the street like that?
That's actually a thing now. It's a lot of
and who am I to talk? Because I put a lot of my business out there, so I've done it. That's just maybe that's my form of therapy somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a thing now. You have a lot of YouTube pages and channels or whatever, websites of these couple counselors that kind of have been through that situation, and they're helping people to come to them or for counseling or anybody else for counseling. And they're putting that situation out there. So it's the transparency about cheating and stuff is kind of trending right now. It's been trending for a while. But I don't know, because it just depends. Sometimes it can help. I think when you're in the spotlight, it hurts. But in order to kind of contain other people's hateful or negative comments, you kind of put it out there first, kind of like, if you fall or something in school, you laugh at yourself, and it seems like everybody's laughing with you, and it kind of makes it die down a lot quicker than,
Good point. Now, I'm just thinking, I got to say this, I got to just try to lighten the mood for a second, but this is, there's a lot of truth in every joke, but I could imagine, because, after watching this video, I'm thinking, man, if I'm Will Packer, so Will Packer is a black man, iconic, legendary producer. Just Google Will Packer. He's like in Hollywood. Will Packer is like one of the dudes. So Will Packer got first time a black man, a black person, got a chance to produce the entire Oscars. So can you imagine? He is probably in the control booth, and all of a sudden, Will Smith. Think about it. We're talking about two global icons, black men who are global icons, leaders, not just leaders, in our culture, but leaders in global culture. And Will Packer sees Will Smith come up and slap the taste out of Chris Rock, and then go sit down and say, cuss him out, keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth. I guess Will Packer like, dude, Will, man, you do this SHIT on my watch? He probably said N-word.
I'm pretty sure that was the situation. If I was the producer, that's how I would have felt. Definitely.
And think about the people that voted on the Oscars. You could imagine they were sitting around saying, see, I told you should have gave the damn Oscar to Denzel. Look what happened. And wait a minute. And Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, now she had to be at home saying, wait a minute. Now I done had these colonizers, they didn't question my faith, on a scale of 1 to 10. Lindsey Graham, you and you admit your ass ain't been to church but 3 times this year, so you going straight to hell with gasoline draws, and you gonna question me about my faith and tell me to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, and then they called the sister everything but a child of God, everything short of a pedophile, and implied that she was okay with child pornography. They implied that. And she almost, it looked like she was about to either cuss Raphael Ted Cruz out, or was about to get up and slap the taste out of his mouth. You, Dakota, I can imagine. You knew that look when you saw Judge Brown when she was about to say something, and she had to pause for like 10 seconds, and then she said, Senator, and she went on. I know that look. Black men, we know that look from a black woman when she'll give you that look. Like she'll start to say something, and then she'll stop and be like, but see, the internal dialogue, what's going on in her head is just, can you explain what that internal dialogue is?
I mean, that's human nature. I really don't think it's a black thing or a white thing. And I think it's unfortunate that every time we do something in the public eye, it's like, oh, wow, Black people need to stop this. We need to stop this. Because sometimes it's just a human nature thing. Like, I really do think that, because.
Well, I know. I guess the point I was trying to make. Have you been in the situation with
Yes.
Ketanji Brown? And
Yes.
here it is. It's like people who you way smarter than, or nobody in the room is smarter than you. You probably smarter than most of the folks. You didn't really. It's your idea. You put it together, and then folks are gonna look at you or kind of talk like you're not in the room and ask you something crazy. Just say something that really just crosses the line, and you had to catch yourself.
Yeah.
Because you really said to yourself, okay, do I risk it all? Do I throw everything that I worked so hard for in this moment? Or do I just really tell these so-and-sos what I really think and feel about it?
And to this day, I wish I was in a situation similar. Of course, it wasn't that I was being elected for judge or anything, but I wish that I didn't restrain myself to this day.
Really?
I wish I would have let him. Yes, I do.
So let me ask you, so this situation you're talking about, if you didn't restrain yourself, would that cause you to have lost an opportunity or lose a
It
opportunity?
wouldn't have caused me to lose an opportunity, but I most definitely would have lost my job at the time, which eventually that was the case anyway.
Okay.
Because that's what they were trying. Of course, when people do stuff like that, they're trying to push your buttons, and it just doesn't stop that one time. It's going to keep on going, keep on going, and keep on going. So I wish I would have just went ahead and
cussed them out, told them what you really thought about them.
yes,
Right.
yes, and just walked away on my own terms. Yes.
Here, y'all can have this key fob and kiss my ass while you at it. I'm gonna really tell what I think about your ass, and your trifling wife, and you got that little ugly ass dog too, and just really go all out. Just really
yes, yes. To this day, that's what I wish I would have done.
Wow. Okay. Great perspective.
Yeah.
So overall, how would you, if you summed it up in a paragraph, if you had in so many layers, but if you summed it up in a tweet in 240 characters, how many on Twitter now was 240 characters, something like that. What is the overarching theme that you took from it? Because there's still another layer, but I want to get that take, and then I want to tell you, all jokes aside, there was one part of it that troubled me just as a black man. But go ahead. I want to get your take.
Just everything I've been reading today and going back and forth with people, I've changed my mind so many different times. My perspective has been altered. But basically, I would have said, you know what? It happened. He's human. Move on. Let's focus on all of the other people of color who got their flowers last night.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And you didn't win a lot, but you had Questlove, and that was the sad part, because that was Questlove's moment, the best documentary category, and it was such a, I don't know if have you seen that documentary, Summer of Soul?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
seen
you got
it.
I've been raving about it since it's come out. When it came out, I ranted and raved about it, and was telling everybody when it was about to come out to check it out. I've seen it. It was about a concert, like I said, in New York, the summer of 1969. You had Sly and the Family Stone with your headliners, and David Ruffin, Gladys Knight, and the Pips. You had little Stevie Wonder. He was a young dude, teenager. Gladys Knight and the Pips, Mavis, the Staple Singers, really all of them. Mavis Staples and Pop Staples and the other sisters. You got to watch the documentary. It's just you feel so much pride. So his moment. Then you had Ariana DeBose, the queer Afro-Latina sister, first Afro-Latina queer woman, a queer person to get the Oscar. So let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. If you and your husband were in the situation that Will and Jada was in, and you know your husband, and all of a sudden you can read his body language, you know him. So you saw him get up. How would you have handled that?
I would have stopped him, but if he would have tried anything backstage, I would have let him do it.
Right. Yeah, and I get and shout out to Diddy. Diddy was like, "Hey man, Will, Chris, we just gonna do it like we do in the hood." I'm paraphrasing. We gonna just we gonna settle this at the the gold party, whatever it is. So basically, he was like, "Hey man, listen, we gonna do this, behind the scene when the show's over, or like back in the day they would say 3:15."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And Chris Rock's his jokes are that to me they've always been distasteful. I'm not a Chris Rock's fan. He makes good movies,
and
but as far
someone who does stand up, myself, comedy, I tell you, it's like beauty or food. Certain comics, their humor is an acquired taste.
Yes.
A lot of folks think Dave Chappelle goes too far. Some folks couldn't appreciate my man Bernie Mac, who I love Bernie Mac. When Bernie was like, "I ain't scared of you, mother." I loved it.
But Dave Chappelle knows he goes too far. Cat Williams knows he goes too far. He doesn't care. He expects, that's another one who's caught a couple of licks. Cat Williams.
Well, he called licks from a teenage boyfriend. A whole different. That's a whole different conversation.
But Chris Rock kind of reminds me of that guy who got bullied in school, and instead of him just being himself, any opportunity he got for anybody that's considered quote unquote lesser that he could bully, he's bullying right back. That's who Chris Rock reminds me of as a comedian. I've never been a fan of his.
Yeah, and I get it. Like I said, I don't think there's any comedian to where you'll find somebody that doesn't appreciate or connect with their humor, and it's nothing wrong with that. Either you go too far, or some folks you don't go far enough, and then they call you corny, or if you're a black comedian, or you sound and acting white. So you just. And as a comedian, somebody who's does stand up, and write comedy, radio for TV, my radio shows, TV, to write for this show that I'm doing my own show. You get everybody is not gonna get and appreciate your humor. So that's just that's a part of comedy. It goes, man, talking about listen to some early Eddie Murphy when he was Raw, when he had on that red leather suit. Or some early.
But see, that's
Richard
the thing.
Pryor.
I get those
Lenny Bruce.
People, but it's like they have a certain vibe about themselves. Like if they get caught in a dark alley, they can back it up. Chris Rock is not that guy. I'm sorry, he just doesn't come off as you talking all this talk. Yeah, that's cool that you're on the microphone in front of everybody, you're on the stage or whatever, but you're not going to be on this stage forever. He's that guy that can't back it up. That's how he comes off to me.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how many comedians would be MMA fighters or boxers now. I mean, a lot of times.
Probably not boxers, but I'm just saying, like your average customer, the person that bought your ticket, I think they'd all whoop Chris Rock. I'm sorry.
But listen, when you are in the public's eye, listen, I have folks that say stuff about me. I got a platform where I can now. Let me just say this, for the folks, Raphael, Ted Cruz, and Lindsey Graham, and Josh Hawley, and Tom Cotton. Yeah, I dug in y'all's ass last week, but just understand, me and Chris Rock are a little different. Now, if you come for me, I'm gonna send you back where you came from, and just understand, if you walk up, my grandfather taught me never to start a fight, but always finish it. But if you walking up on me and you pass a certain point, that means you started it, then I'm gonna end it. So I may not even wait for you to swing first, but since I see you about to swing, so let me just end this thing before it starts. So I'm just the 5932 South Elizabeth, the south side of Chicago, Inglewood neighborhood will come out. I ain't about that life, but I just understand. So, you got to be very, and here's the thing, since, okay, you know what, you went there, because this is the real serious, this part, right now, I want to speak to all my brothers out there, to my black men specifically, and black women too, because this can apply. But this was because these were two black men, two global icons. I mean, just Will and Chris Rock. That's all you got. The world knows they are leaders, not just in the culture, our culture, the Black American culture or American culture, but just global pop culture. So two of these black men who are global icons, one slapped another one because of a joke. I get it. Yes, it was about his wife, but think about the message that sends to all the young brothers, not just here in America, here on the east side of Charleston, on the south and west side of Chicago, east side of Atlanta, north side of Atlanta, south central LA, in Harlem, in Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, all over. Think of the message. I guarantee you, I could get a Chicago Tribune or sometimes newspaper, and you see stories about, the people that got shot or got killed. Chicago News, New York Times, you name it. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution, LA Times. I guarantee we can grab any newspaper in a big city, not to mention rural areas, and white folks are killing white folks too. But there's a narrative that has been created by the powers that be in the media that have created and constantly reinforce negative stereotypes about us as black people, especially black men. That just a black male body is to be feared because they're inherently violent and irresponsible and evil and just a threat. If you see a black male body, you should be threatened because he's a criminal and he could kill you. And then for two global icons, and one, because I had to give Chris Rock credit because he was very restrained. And you see, he caught himself. And I talked about
he caught a big lick. He caught the thunder. That's why he was restrained.
Well, there's a picture I could show you, and it's on social media, to where when his face went this way, his hand, he was balling his fist up, and you saw it was like this.
Mm-hmm.
I seen
he probably
and
thought about it like I don't want to catch another one of them haymakers either.
I don't know if it was that or if he just realized this ain't the time to let my ego get the best of me, because nobody's gonna win, because we don't know. I mean,
put it like that.
Well, let me say this:
who wins from, like, it would have been different if Jada wasn't married or she was there by herself. But this man is sitting next to his wife, and true, a lot of people are touching on the point like, well, he laughed at first, but she could have whispered something in his ear or whatever. He still has to deal with that. And like I said, they're in therapy working on some things.
Yeah.
Who knows as to the reason why those affairs or whatever happened in the first place? What she's attributing to them to. Like, maybe she feels like, hey, you don't take up for me enough. You don't pay me enough attention. I've been feeling neglected for years. I'm emotionally damaged or whatever. Maybe there's this.
And you didn't whoop August Alsina's ass when he was sleeping with me and living in the house. So, folks like, okay, you're going to slap Chris Rock, but you ain't going to slap August Alsina. He's sleeping with your woman. So, and that's...
I think August was a victim, and Will realize that. For one, he's much younger, and he's basically a fan of Jada. And from what I heard, that he had fell in love with her. It became a problem kind of almost like a stalkerish
Yeah,
type thing. Yeah.
he got caught up, but he was in his 20s now. He wasn't no baby. I get it. He was younger. She was
No, he
like 30.
wanted a
She
baby,
was
but
in her
look at
late
this.
30s, but come on. All right.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. You got all these miles on this, experience on her, and she's coming to this like 20-year-old guy. You know what I'm saying? She rocked his
Early
world,
20, yeah.
as they say.
Well,
Yeah, she blew his mind.
I'm not gonna get myself in trouble, but way back in the day, I had my cougar experience once, maybe once or twice, but still, but I just listen. I'm saying that's why my theme was we all of us, Dakota, everybody watching, myself included, we all need to have somebody in our life that can save us from ourselves because we are human. And we can all, like I said, I've been lucky that I've had people in my life to save me from myself, but it's still, the look was, and like I said, when you, to whom much is given, much is required, and you carry a lot of responsibility. And with the fame, the prestige, the influence, the power, you gotta have some sense of self-awareness. But nobody's perfect. But it's just.
But obviously,
in that
the
moment,
way Will has always carried himself. I mean, I feel like he literally, quote unquote, snapped. There was no self-awareness in that moment.
Right. And I get it. 2016, Chris Rock cracked a joke about, Jada was defending Will because she felt he should have got nominated for an Academy Award for some movie that year. He didn't, and Chris Rock was like, well, hey, because Jada said she's boycotting the Grammys, and he was like, well, you boycotting the Grammys is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited, you wasn't invited, and then, if Will upset about not getting nominated for an Oscar, he should be upset that he got paid $20 million for the Wild Wild West movie, which was a dud. So, I get that history. Like I said, this cake has got a lot of layers.
And then you have to think that, like, you can't play with everybody. His kids been his son's been turning up on and off on him. Like you said, he just got through producing some stuff. That's a lot of pressure in itself. And then he just got through making his major movie, and he was probably sweating out the Oscars beforehand. I mean, we don't know, like, sometimes it's just the wrong time. I'm not defending him because Will is normally very composed, and that was out of character for him. And everybody's coming at him like he's just this thug person, not understanding. Maybe he really does need some help.
Yeah, true. But let me say this to the outside world, because I don't know Will personally, and you don't. So to the outside world, it may seem like, because the image, he's Will Smith, parents don't understand. He was the rapper that the hardcore rappers in the 90s, they thought he was soft. He's soft, doing that old, white rap. I'm in the industry, so I heard other rappers what they had to say about Will. He's like, man, he a punk. And then when he went out and he did the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, so, told you, his old soft ass, so, which is ignorant. I get that. But he ain't that dude now. He's Will Smith. And this is Chris Rock. Like I said, global icons. And just sometimes, we got to look at the bigger picture. And
I understand that, but when your mind is snapped, there is no bigger picture.
I get that. But I get hurt people. That's why we got to deal with, you need to get my present company included. I'm lucky to have people to keep me grounded, but there are people in my family I have conversations, and if it gets, as a matter of fact, I just had my physical. Knock on good, my doctor's like, man, your blood work, your lab's great. But then every year he asked me, how are you doing? He's like, okay, how are you really doing? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and listen, I had challenges, worrying about my daughter, making sure that I can come up with the money to get her back at school, and we all had something going on. We all have a cross to bear.
But even though you're a black man, not to cut you off, you communicate for a living. Will doesn't do that. He repeats words that he memorizes on paper. He acts for a living. You know what I'm saying? He's not his true self. He he's not in practice with giving his opinion. So you're a different kind of man. Most men can't communicate. They don't communicate their feelings. They don't want to. A tragedy or a series of tragedies have to happen before they get to that point, if they ever get to that point.
Did you hear his audio book? His new book, which is an audio form also. And he's very open about it, because he acknowledged about, he feels to this day, he said, I feel like a coward because I didn't defend my mother from my father when he was beating her. He talked about how he was in his feelings about Jada, you know, being in love with Tupac, and, you know, the relationship they had. So it's clear, and it was clear to me what you saw last night.
But she still denies that. She will not address that.
Well, maybe she didn't, but at least in his head, you know. So that I did a book initially. It was an audio book in 2005, Game Recognized Game, the real, the raw, and the why men do what they do in relationships. And I addressed something called penis envy, and it's real. Dudes, they don't even know, but it's just in their mind. They just imagine, oh, dude, you know, he better than me. He got it. He packed it.
And it's in the rest, tripping about the that. Whole world. The whole world agrees with Will that happened. So it's in all of our heads. We have that syndrome that you wrote about in your book.
The penis. Women, y'all don't. They say y'all got something else. Y'all don't have penis envy because you don't have that organ. Y'all got you whatever it is. I'm sure you can explain. What's the female version of penis envy? You please educate us right here on the show.
I don't know what this female version is, but everybody in the world is on Will's side when it comes to Tupac.
Okay.
Everybody they think that too.
But she married, dude. She married you. She married you.
What does that mean? You're old school.
Well, wait a minute. You got the prize. So Will, listen to me, bro. Listen to me, man. You got what you felt is the prize. Y'all been together for 2 decades. Y'all done been through a lot. And now listen, I don't know, but I'm sure Will got a few, you know, he got a few skeletons, you know, ain't too many women popped up, and, you know, but he, you know, look, he human. So I don't know what his record is. I can't accuse him, but I'm just saying, you know, let's just keep it 1,000. But at the end of the day, dude, Tupac didn't win that battle. You won. She may have been in love with him. They may have did whatever, but guess what? She chose you. And women do the picking and choosing. Now, Dakota can disagree with me.
We do the picking and choosing.
And I put that in my book.
We also know who's pickable and choosable. And Tupac was not the marrying kind. So she wasn't going to have, if she wanted the life that she's living now, she wasn't going to get that from Tupac.
So my point,
and she knew that.
As a man, from a man's perspective, I'm saying, Will, you won, dude. I don't trip about, you know, I don't know. I don't even care. It don't matter. Even if the dude come to me, hey man, you know, I used to, you have fun with that, but guess what? She been with me. So you know, the OJs had a song, She Used to Be My Girl. I'm gonna play that for your ass. She used to be your girl, but she's mine and been mine and gonna stay mine. If you don't believe me, she right there. You can ask her. So Will, you won, dude. You won, bruh. I get it. This whole man, and now I'm not bragging. It just this whole thing about penis envy. You know, here's the deal. One thing I learned, like I said, first of all, women do the picking and choosing. Men may do the hiring and firing, but women do the picking and choosing. Dakota, I guarantee you know this, that you all know when a dude can walk in the room and within 30 seconds, you all have already decided whether or not he may have a chance. It's like, okay, seem like he may be cool. So before we even get to you, you have already like a scan, like, okay, what kind of energy is he putting off? You know, it's like, oh no, his ass seems like he's full of himself or too arrogant or whatever. Now, just if I'm wrong, correct me. But am I right or wrong?
That is true. Okay. But there's also, you know, if you want a certain lifestyle, you're going to be with this person. But that doesn't stop you from wishing that you had the other person, or that the other person would act like the one that will give you what you want.
But so will help me out. I'm just saying, if that feeling was for Pac was still that strong, then would you go on and what? She shouldn't have married Will if that's the case.
The women do it every day. That's
Okay.
what men don't understand.
Okay, well, educators.
Yeah.
You get that's why
Yeah.
you're on the show. Educators, please.
Yeah, women do that every day. The feelings has nothing to do with it. A lot of times, like if a woman wants a certain type of stability.
Hold on, stop it here. Let's be clear, because you're educating us men. Feelings have nothing to do with what specifically in this instance we're talking about right now.
When you're looking for that man that you're going to settle down with,
Okay,
for the stability,
okay,
you're and you got some sense, you got common sense. You're not going to just marry somebody based off of your feelings and your emotions or whatever.
okay.
That's
smart. That sounds smart though.
Yeah.
But you're gonna do what? Finish. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna do what you got to do to secure your lifestyle. You don't have to be all this deep in love with this person from the beginning. And then as women, we have the ability to fall in love with somebody over time that we're with, that we're caring for, that's doing things for us. But you don't have to be in love with somebody to marry them.
Oh, I can get that, but it's like, then why? That's just me. Don't
Well,
get
because
married.
the lifestyle, you realize who's going to give you, who's going to be that good father, that good role model, that good provider. It's just whatever you have set up in your mind that you want out of life. You know what I'm saying? You go get that man for those qualities, not based on your feelings.
So maybe that's why the divorce rate is so high. Because what's the saying, the biblical saying about equally yoked? At some point, it's just, if it's not.
I think the divorce rate is so high because those are people who marry off of emotions. That's what I think, in my opinion, because you're not going to be in love every day.
Oh, no, of course.
Yeah. So,
that part. And it changes because every 10 years we are a different person. So,
yes.
After 20, 30 years, it's like, think about it. If you start off, you're young, you have kids, the kids grow up from, toddlers and little kids, and they go through school from K through 8, then college. Then they get out of college and you're empty nesters. You're different people. You're different people way before that. But I mean, you've been together for 20, 30 years. So every 10 years, so that means 30 years, you really 3 times you have evolved. 20 years, that's 2 times that you were one person at 20, then you're one person at 30, then at 40, you're the same, but you have changed. There's certain things that have changed about you, your outlook, the way you would do things and handle things. So, but for me, if it's, it's gotta be, I can't, that wouldn't work for me, growing to love somebody. I mean, I ain't really feeling you, and maybe because maybe as a man it's different because, but see, women, come on, this is y'all security. Y'all out there doing, y'all out there bringing the bread home just like men are. In some cases, bringing home more bread than the man. So,
but we can't be a 2-parent household. You can't be a partnership when you're solo. Yeah. And a lot of women, they want that partnership. They want that 2-parent household. And I think that's what Jada was looking for. She wanted a family. I mean, I think she's a brilliant person. I do. I just think some of the things that they've been through is when they were in different places. And I think I remember her. I watched part of it when she was talking about how they were so busy. You know what I'm saying? When she was coming, he was going. And that's a lot. That's a breeding ground for an affair. Yeah. And like you said, they're in the spotlight a lot.
All right.
And
all right, I could go on, and it is my show, but all right, look, it's close to 90 minutes. I want to wrap it up by just ending where I started off, and then I want you to give me your final thoughts. We all let this be a teachable moment that we all need somebody in our lives that can save us from ourselves. And the more successful you become, the more status, the more wealth, the more money you get, and the more popularity, you should become more humble. B, you should always have somebody in your life that will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, and tell you what you need to hear it when you need to hear it, so they can save you from yourself. And two, in the future, for all us brothers out there, but even if you're not a celebrity, you could just be your brother in the neighborhood, on the corner, but you got young kids, young brothers and sisters. But I'm speaking to my black men looking up to us, man. We can't talk about how these young brothers are just, they don't value life, and they just out here murdering each other. When you got poverty and a lack of opportunity, and then when you got the genetic and this trauma, because trauma is genetic in some forms. It can be passed down. There's research. There was research of the grandchildren of Holocaust survivors, to where scientifically they were able to see the trauma genetically that had been passed down from the ancestors of these Holocaust survivors to their grandchildren. So just think about all the trauma that we as black people in America, 402 years of trauma, untreated, undiagnosed trauma that collectively we as black people, then you put in a lack of opportunity and fear, and you got kids feeling that they got to buy a gun and carry a gun with them just so they can get to school and back home, or go to the grocery store and get back home safe, for fear that somebody gonna try to rob me and shoot me. So now I got to get a gun to protect myself, because they don't have they don't have the resources, they don't have the mental health professionals and access to people to help them deal with the childhood trauma and the genetic ancestral trauma that's been passed down. So, and myself included, we wanted, because Will talked about being a vessel of love, but he wasn't a vessel of love in that moment. He was a vessel of hate. And my mother taught me to allow God to use me to be a vessel, to be a blessing to somebody else. All right, nobody is more protective of black women than I am. But there's a way to do it. There's a time to do certain things, and a place and where you do it. And just like I said, we just need to have those people in our lives that can save us from ourselves and each other. Like what Denzel, even though it was after the fact, but it could have escalated and got worse. Like Denzel and Tyler Perry, in between commercial breaks, walked over to Will over there at the academies last night, and basically was like, hey man, just go ahead and let's just let this go here. And we get you, yes, but there's a way to do it. It's like my mother she taught me as a little kid. She's watching right now. Mother, I see all your comments, and Uncle Leroy Management Group and the Big Picture Podcast, I see you. But my grandparents, my ancestors, rest in heaven, watching me now, my mother say, it's not what you do and what you say, it's how you do it and when you do it. Not what you do and what you say, but how you do it. A lot of times, how you say it can cause the most damage. So just think about that. So, Dakota, you got the floor. Your closing remarks.
I just want to say that mental illness is real.
Yeah.
It's very real. So, it's okay if you're feeling pressure. As a man or a woman, it's okay to talk to someone. Even if you have to pay someone to listen, to kind of help you get that stuff out. You got to write a song, if you got to write it down on paper, if you just got to record it on your phone and erase it, get it out. Because, something, you keep stuff in for so long, it's going to explode.
Yeah.
And so
that's true.
And any little thing, it could be something so unrelated to what you're going through. And then that person they're going to catch it. I get it. I've been that person. And it takes a while for you to even realize that you've done it. Because it's like you don't even you're on autopilot. When you snap like that, you're on autopilot. Yeah. You're not thinking. Other people are telling you what you did and what you said afterwards. And when you get to that much pressure, yeah.
And I've been there. Like I said, I've been in that moment to where I was out of body, and my mother had to literally, Jeannie, she had to put me back in my body. I had my Damaris and my daughters. It was like, hey, we need you to stand down. I said, you need your ass stand down. and you definitely need that. So thank you. Dakota Rain, tell everybody where they can follow you on social media.
Okay, you can find me on social media at Dakota on the Air on Facebook and Instagram. Check me out, most definitely. I got a podcast coming out. I've already released the trailer.
Cool.
So if you search me on Spotify, I can't remember where else. It's being picked up now, but I know it's already on Spotify. So
I'm excited. Hopefully I'll be a guest. You can invite your boy on to be a guest.
Of course. Of course.
And listen, Dakota gave you, so Will, next time, listen, don't slap him. Don't slap him in front of a billion people on the Academy Awards, on the Oscars. Either catch him after the party, say, hey man, you need to come see me. Let's have a conversation. Let's go in this bathroom, or let's go on outside in the parking lot. and write a screenplay. Come on, you're a filmmaker. Make a movie about it. Get it out that way. You can play the character where you can really whoop his ass and not have to worry about somebody pressing charges. But I gotta give kudos just personally. Chris Rock. You in that moment, you were the bigger man, and you probably bigger than me in that moment. But I know it wouldn't have got to that moment because the mayors would have been grabbing me, and I could, I would be able to hear my mother, through the TV. Jeannie, if you don't sit your ass down, I didn't raise you that way. And the mayor's literally, she told me she would have just grabbed mine. And said, I know you're not about to do this. I appreciate you wanted to, but you're not going. No, she'd have just said, sit down. She'd have just grabbed me and be like, no, you sit, or you know what, we gotta go. It's time for you to go home. You don't even need to sit down. We need to just get you up out the building. You need to go on home and sleep this one off for it, at night, or get somebody on the phone and get some help. Thank you, Dakota.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. Dakota Rain, great job, great perspective. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life as always. God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Please subscribe to my channel. You and everybody you know and don't know, everybody you like, love, can't stand, hate, strangers, aliens, tell them all to subscribe to the Geno Jones channel. You can catch me tomorrow, the next live edition, 6:30. But go back and binge watch all my episodes. And if you came through, this was a special edition. The show was a little longer. Go back and at the beginning and binge watch the whole thing real quick. Shout out to the Big Picture Podcast. Thank you, my brother. Great topic. Uncle Leroy, my brother. Thank you, man. Holla at your man. Hello is my executive producer, the woman that has saved me from myself many times, my mother, Mary Dixon. My mother wasn't crazy about the jokes. She was like, you didn't say that. But at the same time, she said, yeah, because I asked her, so mother, if you was with me together and somebody, made a joke and you saw me about to get up there and slap the taste out of somebody's mouth, what would you have done? She'd have been like, no, I wouldn't have let you go on up there like that. Maybe see him after the show, but you can't be slapping people on global TV, on international TV, live TV. No, she would not have let me, because she has kept me from doing way worse. That's all I'm gonna say. She's kept me from doing a lot worse than just slapping somebody one time. She saved me from myself. I love each and every one of you, mother. I love you more than life itself. One more thing, really, one more phrase, two things before I get out of here. Once again, thank you for watching, and as always, be blessed. Oh my God, let's pray for peace. Let's pray for peace between Will Smith and Chris Rock. Let's pray for peace on the streets all over this country and in Ukraine and all over the world. Thanks for watching. All right, go back and binge watch this and all my other episodes, and we'll see you live Tuesday, 6:30 p.m.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.